In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with Travis picking on your acoustic guitar. Travis picking is an amazing way to fingerpick your guitar, where your thumb plucks steady bass lines on the lower three strings, while your fingers pluck syncopated harmony and melody lines on the top three strings of your guitar. Look away when someone is Travis picking and you will swear you're hearing more than just the one guitar playing. Hi, I'm Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and Travis picking is a great way to fingerpick your guitar. Not only is it a style within itself derived from a fingerpicker called Mel Travis, but the Travis picking pattern can be found in thousands of fingerpicking songs, such as Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, Dust in the Wind by Kansas, and The Boxer by Simon & Garfunkel, just to name a few. So it's one of, if not the most important and useful fingerpicking approaches you will ever learn on your guitar. In this Travis picking tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly what to do to get started with this awesome style of fingerpicking. First up, I'm going to show you the most important part of Travis picking, which is the bass played with your thumb. You will learn that everything relates back to the bass, and there are some key rules you must follow to get this right. After that, I'll present to you a number of exercises that will work on getting your thumb to work independently to your fingers. And this is another crucial element you must master in order to Travis pick. So what you're about to see is an excerpt from a masterclass I taught on Travis picking at music events in Chicago. Now watch carefully as I walk you through the foundation to this style of fingerpicking guitar and what you need to focus on to be up and running with Travis picking. So with the bass, for Travis picking, it's best to use a thumb pick. You can not use a thumb pick, but you don't really get the same snap in the bass when you're just using your bare thumb with Travis picking. So ideal to use a thumb pick. As I was saying before, the bass is always on the beat. It's on the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and generally always muted so that harmony parts and melody parts and other bits and pieces going on stand out in contrast to the bass. So with the bass, it's going to be dictated by the chord you're playing. So if you're playing a root 6 chord, like an E open chord, then you've got basically two choices in terms of bass patterns that you can play. One simpler than the other. So the simple one would be a 6/4 bass pattern, which simply means you're playing the 6th string, then the 4th string. So that'd just be, okay, so I'm holding E and I'm playing 6/4, 6/4 in my bass. If we want a little bit more movement in the bass on that chord, then we can play a 6/4, 5/4. Like that. If we have a root 5 chord, like an A open chord, then we've got two choices as well. We can play 5/4, 5/4, which is the simpler of the two choices, or we can play 5/4, 6/4, which has a little bit more movement in the bass there. Okay, so root 6 chords, 6/4, 6/4, referencing the strings that you're playing for the bass, or 6/4, 5/4, and for root 5 chords, 5/4, 5/4, the simpler of the two, or 5/4, 6/4. If we have something like a C chord, you're going to find that if you choose the 5/4, 6/4, it's a root 5 chord, then you're going to have to alternate this third finger from the root on the 5th string to the 5th of the chord on the 6th string. So sometimes you'll need to alternate a finger in the bass to get that 5/4, 6/4 sound. And it would be true for B7 too. You'd be 5/4, 6/4, alternating the second finger from the root in the bass to the 5th. Okay, so it depends on the chord as to what you need to do with the bass, but in the handout there's examples of those there, pretty much covering all situations that you'll have or that you'll come across with the bass pattern. What you want to do is work on the bass. It's really, really important to get that driving sound, and it's not as simple as just playing the right strings. You really do develop
the muscle there to get that sound consistently going as you're playing. So it's important to work on in isolation, whether it be just to start with on isolated chords, like I was doing then, or naturally to then progress into a little bit more of a musical context. So for example, I could play like a little 8-bar blues using E, A and B7 and just work on the bass, something like this. Okay, so you just start to mix the patterns up through a chord progression, and you could pick any chord progression you wanted to apply bass to. You just got to work out, is it root 5 or root 6 chord, and then whether you're going to go with the simpler pattern or the one that's got a little bit more movement in it. Good to start with simple first. Once you've got that bass going, we really want to bring in the 3 fingers that we're going to use for our finger picking, our index, our middle and ring fingers. So if we've all finger picked before, or the majority of us, we probably know that we have common letter names for referencing the fingers that we use. So we've got P for thumb, I for index, M for middle, A for the ring finger. So I think I've made those references in the handout. And I've got a number of drills there, thumb independence drills I've called them. So it's just to get the thumb and the fingers moving independently of each other so that we can start to keep that thumb going on the beat while we start to bring in notes with the 3 fingers, I, M and A. So I've got ones there that use the 6/4 bass as well as 6/4, 5/4 bass, all on an E chord. So for example, we could get our 6/4 bass going like this on the E, and in between, I'm on the beat there, so in between I could just use my index finger to bring in the 3rd string, like that. And the sound we want isn't, right, we don't want that because it's all just, all just bleeds into each other. We want that separation between the bass and the, or what would be a harmony or a melody part. And once you get used to a 6/4 approach, you could bring in the 6/4, 5/4. And those drills that you've got in your handout will just go through different combinations of the fingers. First, bringing them in individually. So the 2nd finger, or the ring, okay, and different combinations of those fingers too. Okay, that type of thing. So it progressively gets a little bit more challenging as you go through, but the whole point is to keep that bass going the whole time. It's more about the bass than the fingers at this point in these exercises. Although if you're new to finger picking, it's good to get used to using your index finger for the 3rd string, middle for the 2nd string, ring finger for the top string. It's not set in stone that, but it's a good place to start if you're not sure which fingers to use for which strings. As we did with the bass, we want to bring that into a little bit more of a musical context, different chords that call for different bass patterns. So I could do a similar progression I did earlier with the bass, the 8-bar blues, and I'll just bring in some of the fingers so we can bring that in. So something like... And that involved the B7, so I had to move my 2nd finger onto the lower string to complete that bass. If you wanted, you could just do a 5/4. Okay, I generally go for the ones that have more movement, but sometimes you don't have a choice depending on the chord that you're holding, and we'll see that.
Okay, let's just touch on a couple of key things that you just saw there, and a couple of things I want to include that you did not see there in that excerpt of the masterclass. One of which was the fact that with Travis picking, the style, you want to use a thumb pick. So let me make a distinction here. There's Travis picking the pattern, the Travis picking pattern, and there's Travis picking, which is way more than just simply a pattern. So when I mentioned songs before like Landslide and The Boxer and so forth, they're songs that use the Travis picking pattern. They're not Travis picking the style. Travis picking the style involves a lot more than just a simple pattern. However, it is pretty much at the foundation of the style, if you like. So when you're playing songs like The Boxer or Landslide or whatever, you don't have to use a thumb pick, and in most cases it's probably preferable that you don't. But if you're playing the style of Travis picking and you want to get that traditional sound, you definitely want to use a thumb pick. And it can take a little bit of getting used to, because of course you won't be used to it, so expect that. But the idea and the reason why is if I've got my, let's say, an E chord and I play the bass, I'm after what is sometimes described as a boom chick sound. Boom chick, boom chick. And it sounds like this. Okay. Now you're not going to get that crisp sound with your thumb, your bare thumb, the flesh of your thumb, but you will get it with a pick, a thumb pick. The other component there is, or thing that I'm doing, is palm muting, because I want the bass to be separated from what I play on the higher strings. I want contrast, light and shade there. So if I mute the bass down, it's going to put the bass in the background, as it should be, and bring the parts I play on the higher strings forward. Okay, so if I start to bring in some parts on the higher strings here whilst the bass is going, you'll get the idea. So I've got my bass, and then I'm just doing whatever on the high strings, but the point is they're ringing through and my bass is in the background, being palm muted and staying on the beat the whole time. Okay, so that's important. Thumb pick for the sound, palm muted to separate bass from the higher parts. And the distinction between Travis picking pattern used in lots of finger picking songs and then Travis picking the actual style. In addition to that, I just want to inject or include a little additional part here that would kind of fit nicely between working on your bass and some of the exercises I showed you in that class. And that is, working on the independency of the thumb to the fingers. Okay, so we can really simplify it and just reduce the bass component down to a single string, in this case the open sixth string. So I'm going to play that on the beat, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice steady beat. It's not going to change at all, but as I do that, I'm going to use my fingers on top, one of my fingers, to play the open E string on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Something as simple as that is now starting to get, in the smallest of ways, your thumb and your fingers working independently of each other. Then you could take that open E string and play it on the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Or on the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Or you guessed it, on the 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's simple, but it could be surprisingly challenging, which is fine, because you're getting, there's two parts happening there now. As simple as it is, there's a bass on the beat, muted with the thumb, and then there's this open E string coming in. Now we can take things a little bit further by coming in with that open E on the upbeat, the and. So I might do something like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. So now it's in between the bass. 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Maybe on the end of 3. 2, 3, and 4. So moving it along in the bar a bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it gets a little bit more interesting, a little bit more syncopated, but the whole time the bass is on the beat. That's what's really, really important. We could combine those things. So we could play on the beat with the open string on top and in between the beat, in between the bass here. So remember, the bass stays constant. So maybe something like this. I'll just come in with random things here. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, I'm just coming in with the open E on different parts of the beat, in between the beat, but doesn't matter where I'm coming in. What's important is this is constant. That's what's important. That's working, and it's got a job and it's doing that, while my fingers have another job. They're working together as a team, if you like, playing, what could be a nice melody, but right now just an open string on top. And that's a really, really good way to get the thumb and the fingers starting to work independently from each other. If you would like further help with your finger picking overall, the kind of help that gets you results in the most direct, efficient, fun way possible, then check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, a complete system for fingerpicking acoustic guitar, so simple even a beginner can learn it. Now, I've carefully designed this course to do all the heavy lifting for you as far as knowing exactly what to do, how to do it, and when to do it in regard to the mastering of fingerpicking guitar. All you have to do is follow the pathway I've laid out for you. In the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, you will learn and master all the key concepts, methods, strategies, and techniques needed for fingerpicking, so you'll never put your guitar down in frustration again thinking, how the hell do I do this? You'll also discover the exact order in which to do things, avoiding the all too common mistakes most people make when learning to fingerpick guitar, saving you precious time and much frustration. Have your hand held every step of the way with the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. It will take you from wherever you are right now with your fingerpicking to where you would love to be, enjoying every part of the process along the way. Click the link below in the description of this video and check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. Let me know in the comments section what guitar topics you would like to see covered in upcoming videos. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I release a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you so much for your time. As always, I appreciate it very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.